makes you laugh, cry, thrilled for a battle, and then at the end of it all, it gives you depression. A void, an absolutely unescapable void, and that void, it's too big to be filled by anything else other than more Gintama. The cast, the characters, the music, the basically everything. Gintoki is a sweet, loving ex-war criminal who is jobless until someone hires him. Shinpachi is a pair of glasses wearing a human trying to rebuild a dojo. Kagura is a alien best girl. No one's threatening me to say this. Best girl who has no flaws and is the queen of shonen. And Sadaharu is absolutely goated, unmatched, and great and fluffy. And then there's many other characters that are lovable and whatnot. The Shinsengumi, who at first seem like the people who usually are villainized as the government, but aren't they? It's hard to not spoil. It's really hard to not talk about spoilers. They have a gorilla, a mayo-loving idiot, and murderer who isn't a murderer because police, as well as Yamazaki, who is as bland as a human can get. And then there's the ninjas. Although it's really hard not to spoil. There's the ninjas, Sachan and Zenzo, who are both goatas as well. Yeah, and then there's some characters I really can't talk about without spoilers. Oh yeah, there's Katsura, who isn't Zura. Okay, it's Katsura, not Zura. Then Elizabeth, who is Elizabeth. It gets its own arc. Yes, this thing gets its own arc. And there's also Madao, one of the most goated characters in the cast, who basically jobless, homeless, broke, a bum, basically. I didn't know I was listing stuff. Then there's Tsukuyo, who is best girl, uncontested, best tsundere in all of fiction. Because, yes. And since it takes place in the Edo period, there's also the shogun, Tokugawa Shige, who basically has some of the most funniest moments in the series, as well as one of the most saddest moments in the series. Guess I'll talk about the antagonists now. There's, aside from the one arc antagonist, the main antagonist of the series, for the most part, is Takasugi. The final fight was against Takasugi. And also one of the greatest fights in Gintama was against Takasugi. Basically Takasugi is Takasugi's goal is to destroy the world. You'll find it funny if you've watched JoJo's, and now that they share voice actors with Dio, which is funny. And then there's the one and only Sakamoto Tatsuma, the leader of the Kaientai, aka merchants, they don't do much. They don't get much screen time either. Then there's also Otose, Catherine, and Tama, who basically just serve as more great characters. There's also Shinpachi's sister. I don't know why it took me this long to get to Tae. But don't depend on her to cook stuff, and she has a stalker. Isn't that great? The stalker has tendencies to do a lot of guerrilla business. Speaking of guerrilla business, all of Gintama you could say is guerrilla business, because Sorachi is a gorilla, canonically. Just one of the greatest parts of Gintama, I must say. That Sorachi himself has not only voice acted, been a character in the show, but also animated some parts of the final movie. Has your author done that? Bragging rights. Well, the Gintama's more serious arcs are scattered, but after 300, it's basically all serious arcs as long as you watch Pororihen before 300, as well as the Love Potion OVA, which shouldn't have been a OVA, before 300. What else do I say? What else? Other than it's absolutely goated and you should just watch it. The first serious arc is around episode 60, but people say it drags. I don't think it drags. Just like with me in part 1, it doesn't drag. The pacing, it's okay for what it is. Stop complaining. Just watch the show and enjoy it. Enjoy the slice of life moment, because once 300 hits, you're basically not getting those moments back for a while, like a long while. And even after you get it back, it's right back to the serious. There's also Kamui, who I somehow forgot to talk about, but Kamui is Kagura's older brother who basically ran away from home. And joined Space Pirates, also known as the Harusame, who basically act as the main villainous group that more or less, yeah. Then there's the Tendoshu, which is what's controlling the government. And if you ever wonder, why isn't the rest of the world involved? Well, it's because Gintama. Right? That's the explanation for any questions you might have. So don't have those questions. Yeah, so what do I say at the end of this? Watch Gintama. Don't just avoid anything I said. Just watch Gintama and enjoy the show. It's worth it. It's worth every second of it.